Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. This is a wonderful day. I am so happy to be with you today. God is so good to each and every one of us, and it's just a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be with you today. You are wonderful, you are beautiful, you are smart, you're everything that you should be, and you can be even more than that. I love you. Thank you again. Dear God, as I sit before you to speak, I pray to you that my soul you will keep. And if I should die before I finish, I pray to you, dear God, in the name of Jesus, that any outstanding sins will be forgiven. Amen. This is Point of View with Cleester, Shirley, Eula, and Merethah. And this is the 16th of May in the year 2023. May is half over with. This time is fleeting, okay? So we are, I know you are, I believe you are. We should be grateful for every microsecond that is allowed to us in this life. Hello, hello, hello. I'm talking about why do people sometimes mistake our kindness for weakness. And we've seen it happen over and over and over and over again. And so we're going to talk about that and see what the deal is with that. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm in psychology today, and I'm also in the power of sensitivity.com today. I'm going to go to psychology today first. We're going to talk about what some people mistake our kindness for weakness. So we're going to go to five things. Okay, no, I'm not doing that positivity first. I'm doing psychology today first. And this is by Jennifer Leah Reynolds. Jennifer Leah Reynolds. And she's talking about why is kindness sometimes associated with weakness. This is Psychology Today. This piece was contributed on the 14th of March in 2018. Uplifting words of encouragement and unexpected, helpful gestures demonstrate that kindness is all around. Kindness efforts are increasingly commonplace from groups that deliver rocks with painted heartfelt messages to those raising funds for experiences for children, like the man who raised over $35,000 for children in New York City's Harlem neighborhood to see the movie Black Panther. Now, that is some love and concern, isn't it? However, as much as kindness is heralded as a thoughtful, caring, and generous behavior, it also tends to get a bad rep. Some people think it's a sign of weakness. They really do. So there seems to be a perception that a kind person is soft and emotionally frail, while an individual who is rude and curt, C-U-R-T, and curt means, like quick to flip back at you, okay? Even it quickly rude, okay? So they say while an individual who is rude and curt, even one who disparages kind efforts, more than more often than not, is someone who is tough, socially intriguing, and even admirable. Now, the subtopic here is why negative associations about kindness persist. Why do they persist? Sadly, she says, I'm concerned that in this country, there's a lot more emphasis on raising strong children, says Barbara Greenberg, a clinical psychologist in Fairfield County, Connecticut. And in many households, that is synonymous with taking care of yourself with little emphasis on feelings of others. So she hopes that will change, but notes that this mindset may also come from the media's influence because we know that the media has so much influence. And I'm on the media right now, social media, and I do want to have some influence, but I want to have it in the positive way. But we've seen so much harm done through the media. Okay? Now Greenberg says, and so much good too, okay? Greenberg says that several television characters we emulate show little empathy, which often means that the bad or mean person is viewed as cool and strong. And people really think that too. Sometimes they really, really do. So Julia Brewer, a clinical psychotherapist in Boca Raton, Florida, adds that the kind slash weak notion may also stem from human development. A child does not view the world with self as a separate entity. There is no me in the world, she says. So there's only joy and curiosity in what a child sees, what they feel, what the child smells, what the child tastes, and what the child hears. So it's when humans develop, Breer Brewer explains, that they begin exploring more of a me and the world mindset, which ultimately gives way to anger, protectiveness, and defensiveness. And we can relate to that, can't we? We can really relate to that. So we want to protect who we are and what we think, and we can become rude or even curt to others in order to protect ourselves, other people, and things we care about, she says. Some remain stagnant in their human development as protective, and others continue to develop with the realization that they can protect by being kind. So there are three ways to cope with people, according to this piece right here in Psychology Today. Three ways to cope with people who lack empathy. Three ways to cope with people who lack empathy. Hello, thank you for being with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dealing with someone who insists that your kind actions are moot, wimpy, or deserving of eye rolls. Here are some tips to effectively cope with people who lack empathy or think kindness is on par with weakness. Number one, resist the urge to explain yourself. Resist the urge to explain yourself. Now, what are we doing here? We're coping with people who lack empathy, okay? We're coping with people who lack empathy. So, number one, resist the urge to explain yourself. Breer advises that you continue being kind without feeling obligated to justify your behavior. And don't we sometimes we just feel like we should be justifying our behavior? But I've grown out of that, I'm doing very well at that, okay? Simply demonstrate who you are and let your actions of kindness versus words define you, she says. These are steps that we have to practice. Now, number two, assess the situation. Assess the situation. Breer warns against assumptions that certain responses are always about you, emphasizing the importance of not responding defensively or in haste. Okay? So instead, she suggests engaging in respectful communication to ensure both parties are on the same page, clearly understanding what was said. And sometimes we talk to people, we're having a conversation, and sometimes you can see where they're losing what the conversation is about or is drifting out of their minds. And so that's why you have to make sure that you're on the same page. So, in fact, Greenberg adds, someone's rude comments about your kindness may not truly reflect their overall personality or mean that they're perpetually rude. See if the other person's behavior is a pattern or if they are simply having a bad day. If it turns out they have a habit of regularly taking advantage of your kind ways, Greenberg says, it's time to, number three, be more assertive. All right? So this doesn't mean lashing out when someone disrespects your desire to be kind. There's a difference between being assertive and being aggressive. Greenberg suggests you gently set limits and stick to them. When we talk about limits, we talk about limits, we talk about limits. And she said, gently set limits and stick to them. while making it clear that your kindness is a gift and will be offered when deserved, but that it is not something to be exploited. Okay? So continue to repeat this set of steps until you get comfortable with them and your message is clear. And so many people, unfortunately, many people believe that being kind or expressing kindness is a sign of weakness. And she said, I wholeheartedly disagree. Just people shouldn't have to feel as though they must choose between being kind and being strong. And that is so true. We should not have to feel like we have to choose between being kind and strong. We can be both of them at the same time. So we have to practice this and we have to stick to it. Okay? So one can be kind and be strong. One can be kind and be direct. One can be kind and firm, and one can be kind and be tough. And this is what Brielle explains. Are any of these kind combinations I note expressions of weakness? No, not at all. This is a great article. And the author here, Jennifer Leo Reynolds, is a journalist and she's the founder of the Kindness Couture, devoted to promoting the kind of humankind. Okay? All right, that is so good. So let's go right on to our next one. And of course, I miss Clee and I miss Thada and I miss Eula today. I miss them today, but we know that they are doing what they do. So thank you for being with me. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to ask you if you will share this. And I know Velma shares, and I know Leora shares. And I just thank you so much, Leora. I've been missing Leora the past few days. Velma's been right here with me. Thank you, Velma. Thank you. I've been missing Rebecca. Rebecca, where are you? Okay, I love you, everybody. 5 things that prove kindness does not equal weakness. And this is the power of positivity. Published on April the 24th in 2021. We've all heard this phrase, don't mistake my kindness for weakness. But why would someone mistake one trait for the other? Do you consider yourself a kind and compassionate person? It's one of the top characteristics that most people want others to say about them. However, some misguided individuals may perceive your generous personality as an indication of weakness, but nothing could be further from the truth. All right. The root word kind is coming from the same Old English word as kin and kindred. It means familiarity and similarities. So in later years, the word also became linked with compassion and doing selfless good deeds for others. So most cultures and religious traditions have their version of the golden rule. It's a guiding principle that encourages people to treat others the same way they expect to be treated. And we know what the golden rule, do unto others as you would them do unto you. So this stellar virtue is meant to cultivate equality and the inevitable link with people, nature, and the universe. With people, nature, and the universe. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here with me. I'm trying to get to my webcast here, a live webcast on here so I can monitor it. It has to be on here. There's Sunday, there's Saturday. I know I went. Okay, just want to make sure. Yep, yep. So anyway, I might not be able to monitor it today, but I will after I am off the air, okay? Off the web. 5 things. Okay. 5 things. Hi, thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you. that prove kindness does not equal weakness. 5 things. Okay? Most cultures and religious traditions have their version of the golden rule, and we did that. It's a guiding principle that encourages people to treat others the same way they expect to be treated. Is compassion an inherent trait? This is our next subtopic. Is your brain hardwired to be a compassionate person, or is it something you learned from childhood and your environment? It's a pressing question that psychologists have deliberated for years. You may be surprised to find that it might be both. According to an article published by the Association for Psychological Science, compassion may be encoded into the genetics of humans and animals. Going beyond morality, it may be an integral tool for survival. Helping others compassionately is often done automatically without expected reward per the article. This is what the article said, okay? So, of course, parents train their children from infancy how to use their inner compassion. So, when your parents and other adults taught you the importance of caring for other people, they viewed this virtue as a strength. Selfishness, two different words, two different meanings, but I'm talking about selfishness and disregard for others was a discouraged character flaw. Okay? Now, is compassion a sign of weakness? Somehow, within the evolution of humans, male bodies were often bigger and stronger. They took the natural role of protector or provider for their mate and offspring. Among the pitfalls and unknown dangers in the primordial world, compassion isn't always the key to survival. It stands to reason that since men inherited the guardian role, they were socialized to be first, fierce, and fearless. Anything else was weak, cowardly, and unacceptable. According to a study published by Frontiers in Psychology, women are more apt to be compassionate than men. The study states that it could be that our social norms still view women as emotional gender while men are expected to be stoic. Okay? Let me do that again. According to the study published by Frontiers in Psychology, women are more apt to be compassionate than men. The study states that it could be that our social norms still view women as emotional gender while men are expected to be stoic. It takes strong people to be gentle with others, and that's for real. It takes strong people to be gentle with others. Conversely, nothing is as gentle as true strength. People who keep their power in check can be the most caring souls in the world. So, why do some people feel that being compassionate means they are small and vulnerable? Maybe for some, it's a pride issue. They don't want other people to in their circle to assume they are too soft. And some people, like they said, they're brought up like that. You don't want anybody to know think you're too soft. You have to stand up to people. You have to be strong for yourself in every situation. Some people are taught like that. And then some people are taught the opposite and everything. So this is really, really, really a good article. Infants are totally dependent on their parents and caregivers for every need. At this point, their body only functions by instinct. One of the first things they learn is that when their hungry belly rumbles and they cry, the big person will instantly give milk or other food to feel, sustain their need. Okay, to feel and sustain their need. That's what that should be. Looks like a typo. Thank you for being here with me. don't know why I don't see it, but I know it's here somewhere. Thank you. So when the newborn feels tired, irritated, scared, or just bored, the smallest whimper will bring the same gentle arms to snuggle them. For these little ones, the universe only consists of them and the big people who meet their needs. Unfortunately, some adults still are in that mode of thinking. For real. For real. This is so good, isn't it? This is Power of Positivity com, powerofpositivity.com. And I hope that you are doing very well today. You know how I am with these clothes. When I move, they move. Okay. All right. This is good. This is so good. Now, roots of compassionate thinking and actions. From about age two, through preschool age, youngsters are eagerly exploring their world and quickly realizing that other people have needs. According to an article published by 0 to 3, most children learn a bit about compassion at age 3. Now, these children have moved beyond the concepts of I, me, and mine as they relate to other children and adults. It's the patient parents, caregivers, and teachers who work with the children and teach them the value of being kind and empathetic. It's a valuable lesson that will take the little ones into adulthood, a valuable lesson. Next, reasons why showing kindness doesn't equal weakness. If most children are trained to be compassionate to other people, animals, and themselves, why do they often meet such resistance as adults? How can social morals dictate that people consider others' feelings while simultaneously labeling them as a shortcoming? Okay? Here are numerous reasons that the compassion you show doesn't make you wimpy. Number one, it's tough to be compassionate, and that's for real. It takes some doing to be compassionate. Being harsh and critical with others, or even with yourself, isn't taking the easy path. Anybody can anybody can be a bully and push people around, especially those who are subjected to authority. It's practically effortless to make a flippant or unkind comment to someone you don't know or who has made you angry. Okay? Now, the true test of character is to grit your teeth and say nothing to people who've insulted or hurt you. This certainly doesn't mean you allow people to run over you like a doormat. Taking the high road and being compassionate to an adversary takes incredible strength and confidence. By golly gee, it really does. It really does. My goodness. Number two, you're setting an example of how you want to be treated. When you show kindness to others, you're not showing weakness, but you're setting an example of how you want to be treated. If you show compassion to others, then you expect the same behavior in return. Remember the golden rule? You're giving an example for others to follow. The person who is going out of their way to be kind is a trailblazer in a cruel and often unkind world of people. I put our people on there because the world, God made the world and the world is perfect. It's us in this world that make things go awry. Okay? So you're simply a model for others to follow. If you help an older person with their groceries at the supermarket, your children and others around you will take notice. If you help someone at the supermarket with their groceries, your children and others, okay, around you will take notice. Number three, what goes around comes around. Oh, karma, karma. What's that other? Be not deceived, for whatever man sows, that shall he also reap. Okay. Number three, what goes around comes around. We have to be very conscious of this. Karma, Karma, is either a gift or a curse from the universe for things you've done in your life. If you do good things to others, then good things will come back to you. However, if you're bad and live an unscrupulous life, then karma will make sure that those terrible things are repaid to you. Be careful, don't mess with karma, okay? So when you are kind to others, you're not showing weakness. Get that. Get that. When you are kind to others, you are not showing weakness. Rather, you're putting deposits into the bank of karma to withdraw later. Okay? So if you plant green beans in your garden in the springtime, oh, I want to do that, then green beans are what you will harvest in the fall. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Karma works much like planting seeds into the earth. Whatever you sow is what you will harvest, so be careful what you plant. The key is to do the right thing when no one else is watching because even if your neighbor or relative doesn't see your good deed, the universe does. My goodness. And I've talked about that commercial where that little girl says the key is to do the right thing when no one else is watching. And that is so true. Do the right thing when no one else is watching because the key is to do the right thing. Because even if your neighbor or relative doesn't see your good deed, God does, okay? God is the ruler and the creator of the universe. So there will be no universe without God. That's what I believe. Number four, it's not always the easiest route. Some folks would say that being kind is easy, but nothing can be further from the truth. And we're in powerofpositivity.com. How many times have you wanted to lose your cool, tell someone off, or give an individual a piece of your mind? How many times have you wanted to do that? It takes real strength to stand up and be nice even when you have every right to be mean. So let's assume you're in the grocery store and someone cuts ahead of you going to the checkout line. You're late for work and your time is just as valuable as theirs. By all rights, you can and should say something to this person. However, you choose to take the high road and ignore their rude move, and that's the best thing you could do. You don't know what's on other people's minds, okay? So later you can help them when a roll of paper towels falls off the conveyor belt onto the floor. You pick them up and you give the lady the biggest smile ever, or the man, whichever. Now, you didn't have to help her or him out, as he or she was obviously rude to you, but you realized that it wasn't a personal move on their part. So choosing the high road feels good on the inside, whether or not others appreciate your act. It certainly doesn't show your weakness, but it shows how incredibly strong you are as a human being. That is, oh my goodness. Number five, you have a positive impact on the world. Remember back to the last time you told someone off? How did you feel after you were done? When you give someone a piece of your mind, does it ruin your whole day? If you're like the average person, then any altercation that causes you to get this upset will undoubtedly affect you, and that's for real. Now, remember the last time you did a random act of kindness for someone to be nice? How did that act make you feel? The world is filled with positive and negative things, and when you choose what you will engage in, it adds to the culture. That is super. So I want to go back and do that sentence right here. Now, remember the last time you did a random act of kindness for someone to be nice? That's the way I should have read it. So, how did it feel? So, if you randomly pay for the dinner of a person ahead of you, smile at someone who looks sad, or put your arm around a person who is crying, then you are releasing positive energy in a world full of so much negativity. And that's a fact. It's easy to murmur and complain when everything in your life is going wrong. But it's so hard to go against the grain. Being nice with no ulterior motive makes you feel good. If you want to start feeling better and having a better outlook on life, then doing things that enhance the power of positivity is a good place to start. This is super. My goodness. So here are the final thoughts on kindness and weakness. You can be anything you want to be in this life, but the most important goal you should strive for is kindness. It takes little energy to be nice to someone with no motives, but the rewards you receive are immense. When you're kind to others, it feels good. You set an example for your family and those around you, and you're making deposits into the bank of karma. So, above all, be kind because when you sow seeds of goodness into the earth, then you will reap goodness in return. And that is super. That is true. Oh my, I am finished with this. Power of positivity. And they in the power of positivity have a note here. They say our passion is to serve and bring the best possible positive information, news, expertise, and opinions to this page. We want to help our community find and shine their inner light, the truth of love, light, and positivity that is within us all. Okay, so this is the powerpositivity.com and there was psychologytoday.com. I am not going to continue, but I want to tell you that I truly appreciate you for being here with me today. And let me get back to where I'm planning on going. You are a great audience. Thank you so much. You are wonderful. You are wonderful. You're wonderful. And we're just thankful for another day. And enjoy the remainder of your day, okay? And to all the mothers and all the guardians and all of the people who have children and take care of children, have experiences. Everybody, I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Mother's Day. Enjoy the remainder of your day. Please let me hear from you. God willing, I'll see you Thursday. And Cleester, she's off Thursday. So I'm looking forward to her being with me on Thursday. I love you so much. Enjoy the remainder of your day.
Oh God, I'm calling on you. Oh God, I'm enlisting the saints to pray. Can you hear me? Can you feel it? Can you hear it? Can you feel it?